So looking at page 9 of the foundation notebook, parts of a circle. Now in this video I will be writing down all the definitions of different parts of a circle. I will be writing in this like blank space here. So see if you can write a bit smaller if you normally write quite big. So first thing that we're going to look at is the circumference. Now the circumference is basically the perimeter of the circle. So the circle itself, okay, it's just that circumference only applies to the perimeter of a circle. Okay, so you could have a perimeter of a rectangle, a square, or a trapezium, whatever, but only a circle has the word circumference for it. Okay, so that's circumference. And what I'm going to write here is, I can't spell it, circumference, okay, is the perimeter of a circle. So that's circumference. Okay. The next one that I'll do here is the diameter. The diameter is this one, this line here that goes from edge to edge of a circle. Okay. Now, diameter is the line from one side of the other, from one side of the circle to the other, passing through the center. Now this bit's important, okay? It has to pass through the center of the circle. And what I mean by that is that if this here were the center of the circle, then that's a diameter, okay? I could have drawn the diameter this way or that way. As long as it goes from edge to edge through the center, that's a diameter. Another definition here is this one here. This is the radius, okay? Now, the radius is a line from the center to the outside, to the actual circle itself, basically, okay? And note that it is half of the diameter. Now you can have many, really the plural is radii, but radiuses we'll say for now, as in that's a radius, that's a radius, that's a radius, they're all radiuses, okay? So just note that radius is half the diameter, or you can also think about it as the diameter is twice the radius. And the last one here on this particular circle is this one here. Okay, that's called a tangent. Okay, I'm going to write over here. So tangent is a line, like a straight line, okay, which touches the circle at one point. So if you imagine this circle to be a bicycle wheel and it's going downhill, okay, the bicycle tire itself only touches the ground at one point. So in this case, it's touching it here, okay? Never can you have the whole tire touching all of the ground at all times, okay? So that's a tangent. So it's just a straight line that touches circle at one point. Okay, so that's for the first circle. The second circle, we have here 3 definitions. Now, I know there's like 5 here mentioned, but don't worry about that. Let's see. So the first one is going to be an arc. Okay, now you can have a minor arc and a major arc. And an arc is this here. It's the outer bit, or in this case, this bit here. Okay, I'm only going to color one in for now. But the difference between a major arc and minor arc is just major's bigger, minor's smaller. Okay, an arc is a section of the circumference. So if you remember, the circumference is the actual circle itself, the perimeter. Okay, arc is only part of that. So if you think about this like a pizza, then this is a pizza crust. Okay, not the whole pizza crust, but part of a pizza crust. Okay, that's arc. Arc with a C, not a K. The other thing we're going to look at here is chord. Chord. Okay, chord is a line from one side to the other, not passing through the center. So if you remember, the diameter has to go through the center. This one here cannot go through the center. Okay, that's a chord. So it just stretches from one side of the circle to the other. As long as it doesn't go through the center, it's called a chord. And the last one mentioned here is a segment. Now we have again major segment and minor segment. Now segment is actually all of this. I'm going to color in the minor segment for the moment, but again, this here would be the major segment. Okay, a segment is the section inside the circle between an arc and a chord. So if you notice here, this minor segment has a chord here and an arc here, and everything inside it is the segment. Likewise over here, there's your chord, there's your arc, and all of this is your major segment. Okay? And then the final definition goes for this bottom circle here, a major and a minor sector. You need to be careful not to confuse a segment with a sector. Okay? And this one here, trying to think. This one. Okay. Sector, again, I'm going to colour in the minor sector for the moment, is all of this. Okay. A sector is the section inside the circle this time it's between an arc and the radius. So remember, a segment was between an arc and a chord. This is between an arc and a radius. And if you want to think about it, it's like a slice of pizza. Okay, so that is a sector. So here you have an arc, and here you have a radius. Here you also have a radius because that's your center. So everything in here is a sector. That's the minor sector because it happens to be the smaller one. You could also have a bigger arc here, a major arc, radius, radius. So everything in here, which ends up looking a little bit like Pac-Man, is the major sector. Okay, now for a lot of this, you don't need to memorize the definition as such word for word, but you do need to be aware of what each section, each part of the circle is, because there'll be many references throughout the exam paper or questions.